This is American fighter Chuck Norris.
This is WWE Hall of Famer, the hardcore legend Mick Foley.
NFL legend Steve Mariucci, and I don't start my day without coffee and cards.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Ricky Williams, NFL legend and herbal connoisseur. And I don't ever start my day without coffee and cards.
Hosted by my buddies, the Bearded Grinch and Mike Blazin' Balliet.
Take 4 and action. The first 3 yesterday were a nightmare. I shouldn't have been doing it while I was driving anyhow, so maybe it was a blessing in disguise. But we're here today on a Thursday anyhow. So what's up, dude?
What's going on? I'm happy we're able to do this on a Thursday. So this is good. This
Thursday,
is
coffee Thursday. I got my nitro cold brew. Love this stuff. If you never have it, it's as good as a beer to me.
It looks good. It looks good. A lot of those were flowing yesterday with St. Patrick's Day, I'm sure. Some of the stouts and the espresso stouts and all those heavy things. So I'm a big fan. I like Guinness. I'm one of those rare people that could actually drink Guinness like I do Miller Lite or Michelob Ultra. I mean, it just tastes good to me.
Well, there's no alcohol, and this isn't just that nitro coffee, but it's like coffee on steroids. Like it'll feel like you're something special.
So you're going to be bouncing off the walls by the time we're done here. What's up, Sam Fitz? How are you, buddy?
Hey, Chris, tell them how they can make sure we know who they are.
You go on Facebook, and there's some setting that I tell you every week to try to fix, and for some reason I can't find it myself. So there is an option at the header on Facebook where you can go in and allow authorization so we can see your name. Otherwise, you just come up as Facebook user. So if you make a comment, we say, thanks, Facebook user. Don't be offended. It's just because we can't see your name.
Hey, Chris, I know we have one over at Blaze and Breaks that you're eligible for if you've been in a break since January 1st, 2021. But do you think we can throw up I thought the tourney started today, but it's tomorrow. Do you think we can throw up a bracket, a coffee and cards bracket challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. I'll actually put something up for it. I'll find something good. So by the end of today, look for a coffee and cards bracket, and I'll put up a nice prize for the winner. I'll go through my stash and see what I can come up with.
All right, well, let's get on to what we want to do. Before we get to the big reveal today, if you didn't know, we're doing not a gender reveal. Sorry, Chris is not pregnant. A HGA reveal, which is actually more exciting to me. I'm sure most of us do. I can't wait for Chris to get an opportunity to show you his HGA reveal. I'm super pumped for you guys to see him. I'm sure you are too, Chris. But we're going to start out with a little free agent chatter. Am I right?
Yeah, we're going to hit it. First and foremost, we got to just address the elephant in the room. What's going on, Floyd? Chris, what's going on? How are you guys? Deshaun Watson, man, I don't know what's happening there. I'm hoping and praying from all the things I've seen about that guy. He seems like such a stand-up dude. So I'm hoping that this is maybe a money grab and the allegations aren't true. But you said, 3, now possibly 4 women coming forward with sexual harassment allegations. What does that mean? What does that mean for him? What does that mean for everybody?
I mean, sorry, I was pulling up the free agency tracker to make sure I was with you on that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's luckily it happened in the off season, not during the season, because I think the NFL struggles with how to handle that during the in season. Do we suspend the guy? Do we let him keep playing? I mean, it couldn't have come at a worse time for Deshaun. The allegations, some of them are some of them are very basic in the way of that there's very little credibility to them, and then there's some where there's some details with oil and body parts and all sorts of things, and you're kind of this is a really detailed accusation. So, and what always blows my mind about this is why it takes 1 to bring up 4. Where were these other ones a long way? So, and I don't mean to negate the fact that these are we got to take the claim seriously, because if these are legit and people are afraid to come out and did it in numbers to be brave, it needs to be addressed, and there needs to be consequences. But we've seen it before where these come out and they ended up being nothing. So you wonder that too. You hate to see a guy's career get just lambasted over this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I think there's a couple of things. Number one, the lawyer went for a money grab before the case was even brought forward, right? So he asked for a settlement cash out of the gate. That makes it a little suspect, but I'm sensitive to it. I've got 2 daughters, 16 and 17 years old. Sexual harassment allegations should be taken 100% seriously. Just as seriously, those that make false allegations should be held to the same standards, and they should be prosecuted as well, because you can really destroy someone's life. So either way, I don't want to go down that path too much on it, but certainly interesting. We'll see how it unfolds. And like I said, I'm hoping that it's not true. And if it is true, then the victims get the justice that they deserve. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's just move on to bigger and brighter. So free agency is, for some teams, fast and furious. For others, if you're a fan of gosh, it seems like AFC North in general, but teams traditionally like myself with the Ravens and Steelers are just slow to go with anything. So while there's teams like the Patriots that have just backed up the Brinks truck and unloaded it on what they can come forward with. So let's just kind of do a little round robin here as we move through the different divisions, talking about some of the key picks-ups and just get your thoughts. So fast and furious out of the gates, AFC East, a lot of movement there. Your Buffalo Bills, I would say the two biggest. Obviously, we talked about Matt Milano kind of re-signing there, but Emmanuel Sanders being picked up there. What are your thoughts on him coming and joining that crew?
I mean, I'd like to say it's not John Brown 2.0. And real quick, I want to address something that was said here. Someone said definitely not something to joke about. By no means are we joking about the Deshaun Watson thing. It's as serious as this could be. And there's no joke about it. I hate to see that it is true, and we hope that it's not. But I just wanted to address that. There was no jokes being made about it. And the protection of the women, and I mean this seriously, the protection of those girls and women that are coming forward is first and foremost on concern. But like, I want to go back to what you said, Chris. It is more important that we understand that I think so too, is that if nothing did happen, there needs to be justification on his end too. I hate to see guys deal with this if there wasn't any truth to the accusations. But I will move on to the John Brown 2.0, Emmanuel Sanders. I don't know. I mean, it's not exciting. The Bills didn't do anything exciting at all. It was just, I don't think that, I don't know what they're doing. We needed a tight end. We let New England scoop up Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. And then we go and let, we get rid of our one tight end for like a 4th or 5th round draft pick to Atlanta. I don't know what the Bills are doing. I am supposed to trust the process. They say, all these teams say trust the process. It's really hard sometimes. So there's hopes that there's going to be some really good deals coming up on guys that did not get signed, but that list is getting smaller and smaller, and I don't know who's going to be available. So, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I want to read something that I got, and this was kind of calmed my nerves a little bit because I'm big into, why can't we make a splash signing? We're so vanilla with how we treat the offseason. So Tony Lombardi, who's pretty well respected in the NFL world, said this, and this was specific to the Ravens, but I think it translates to teams in general. It's okay to criticize blank team, right? And I get the angst about a lack of a splash free agent signing, but keep in mind that this team and others employ brilliant minds who know the game and players better than we could. And those minds have crafted an offseason plan that can't be completed until September. Let the process unfold. Trust in it. The track record is there. They want to win more than the fans do. Do you judge a gourmet dinner before the ingredients have properly been prepared? So again, it maybe not be exciting, but trust in the process. These people will know more about football than we're ever going to know. So you got to go with it.
That was an interesting way to do it. The same person that got my that led my wife's marriage and when we got married, they did it with a cooking reference. I think they knew how much I love food, and you connected with me on that. You know how much I love food,
right.
And connected with me like you got to wait for everything to go. If you eat it too early, it could taste like crap. You can look real ugly on the outside, but when it's all said and done, it's like, oh wow, that was great. I think that's sometimes true, but we've seen teams think they're putting together, i.e. Houston, and you think they're putting together, we'll bring over Tunsil and we'll do this and this and that and trust the process. And then it's like, well, we trusted it, and it's a load of crap now. Nobody wants to be there. Everyone's leaving. So it does make you a little nervous that maybe they don't know what they're doing. They just think they do.
True.
But to that point is there are some things coming, like Zach Ertz is available. I did forget about that, and I heard there's rumors for him to come as well. But I think the biggest thing left on the block has to either be Kenny Galladay, which is visiting the Giants and the Jets. Is that my understanding?
Giants and Jets are in play for that, as well as the Jets are making a run for a couple others. Juju's names out there with the Jets. So they're looking to land one of these splash free agent wide receivers for sure. So that pool that started kind of slow is slowly, deteriorating into, who's going to be left at the end of the day for some of these other teams that need a receiver.
Yeah, I saw the Eagles are second on the list next to Pittsburgh to re-sign. They still think Pittsburgh's going to work it out to re-sign Juju, but he seems pretty adamant that unless the money's there, he's not going to be there. So Philly is the next one on the list. What's JT think about that?
That's interesting. I don't know. But we did have Sam chimed in here on the Patriots. So we're in the East. Let's continue. I'm just going to go down the list. These are all of the signings that New England has made so far. Cam Newton, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Trent Brown, Ted Karras, Deatrick Wise, David Goodshow, Henry Anderson, Matt Judon, Kyle Van Noy, Justin Bethel, Jalen Mills.
They're just
They
like,
have-
we got $70 million. Let's get it out there. You can have 7, you get 11, you get 15. They were just giving it out. Like
They have signed more players than divisions have signed. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Now, will it work? Who knows? I mean, it's got to be the aggregate of all the pieces, right? You can have a lot of really good pieces, but if they don't function together, so we'll see what happens. Definitely helped Cam out for sure. Now, the question is, can Cam throw a pass without bouncing it to the player? We'll see if that happens or not this year. I don't know. It's one of those things where it looks good on paper, but, maybe back to the reference of the recipe, you got to see how the ingredients work together to find out what the meal tastes like at the end of the day.
Here's my bold prediction, Chris. Cam Newton has a better winning record than Lamar Jackson this year.
Can we just mute you for the rest of the show?
Did you see that? What?
We'll put a bet down on that one for sure. We'll see what those records are.
No,
Listen,
I don't want to bet on that because I don't want the Patriots to be that good. I just saw the Ravens have the 31st strength of schedule, so I think I was just betting the odds of the strength of schedule there.
Yeah, it picked up from last year for sure, but we'll see how it shakes out. We still need to put some pieces in play to be contenders in the Super Bowl, in my opinion. If we stick in the East with the Dolphins, biggest news there: Jacoby Brissett. Obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick moved on and is going to be probably the starter in Washington. So Jacoby Brissett's there as a journeyman backup, maybe pushing Tua a little bit on that. Not a whole lot. Got some offensive line help with the addition of Isaiah Wilson and Adam Pankey. And Malcolm Brown in the backfield. So, nothing exciting there, but we'll be interested to see who's going to be the starting quarterback come the beginning of the season there in Miami.
Yeah, definitely. And there's still moves to be made yet, but that division just got super duper tough in my opinion. And that scares me as a Bills fan. They haven't done much to secure that D against tight ends. The Patriots got a bunch of tight ends. And the Jets of Miami just keep signing guys too, and we haven't done much. So that division is gonna be one from the last 3 or 4 years. It went from worst to possibly first or second in strength of schedule.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. New York Jets, not much to say there. Marcus May, running back Josh Adams, Corey Davis is the wide receivers. Their big pickup there. Whether they decide to stick with Darnold or not will be telling. So, not sure what Corey Davis is going to do until you know who's going to be throwing him the ball. So we'll see what happens.
All right,
what is this? All 6
another division.
All right, AFC North. My Ravens, lost some pieces on the defense, re-signed a few. The big news for them is Kevin Zeitler signing as an offensive guard. That was a huge hole for them, and the style of ball that they play with this run-first offense, having a secure offensive line is crucial. So that was a big piece. Marshall Yonder retired. We never really replaced him. Still looking out to see what they do with Orlando Brown Jr. and if he's going to be on the market from a trade perspective, what they can get for him in return. So
I'm gonna stop you for a second because I don't know if it is on when I talk either, but Tim just pointed out too, your audio just got wacky for me as well. So I'm gonna hold you for a second if you want to check on that, maybe reset your mic. I was having trouble hearing what you were saying there, but guys, I'm gonna ask you real quick while Chris messes with that. What do you think was the biggest signing so far? Or rather, it was a trade or signing that could include some of the quarterbacks that moved, or yet what is going to be the biggest surprise yet that we get to see? Chris, why don't you give us a try? Let me see what you sound like here for a second.
Yeah, it should be all good.
You're still skipping around a little bit, so I don't know if you want to leave the stream and come back in a minute.
I'll just go ahead and change mics to make it easy. So carry us for a few minutes.
Yeah, it sounds like the audio was just for you. So, guys, go ahead and answer real quick for us before we get Chris set up on a different microphone there. But what the biggest signing was for you? Again, like we said, Juju and Kenny Galladay, I think the two biggest names out there. You guys know I'm a huge Kenny Galladay fan, so I'd love to see him go to a good team. But I also think that
Steve, are the Bills still?
We're having some trouble here on the audio end. Chris, let me hear you.
How's this? Any better or not? No.
Same problem.
Pause.
All right, Chris is going to hop out there, and unfortunately, our next big thing was going to be his reveal. So I'm going to hop in real quick and kind of jump to what we wanted to talk about last show, and these NFT cards. We're just going to jump right into this while he does it. Have you guys checked out some of these NFT, these digital cards that are trading? Panini did the blockchain that they wanted to get going, and everyone was kind of like, no, these are kind of trash cards. We don't want them. We don't want a digital card. I want But then Top Shot came out for the NBA, and this is what we're going to get into a little bit here. We'll hop back to the free agency in a minute with Chris is with us. There was just a Top Shot offer for a $1 million Zion moment. And now these moments, if you're not familiar with Top Shot, they're just digital moments. They're like a video clip. $1 million offer, and the guy said no. That's not enough for me. Not $1 million. I don't want it. Gronkowski came out with his own like little Super Bowl set, and they sold for like $1.2 million, is my understanding. His little like NFT set. So I wanted to get your thoughts, guys, and Chris, we can hop back over to the free agency thing here, but I want to get your thoughts on. We've kind of negated the fact that these could be legitimate. The blockchain from Panini, these Top Shots are stupid, but money talks, right? Like John just said, put your money where your mouth is. How many of you guys believe that the market is going to go in this direction and that we can actually have some validity in the value of these Top Shot moments? Chris, why don't you see if we have you there?
We in yet? Is this working?
Yeah, we're good. We got you, man. We're good.
See, hey, you got to have a backup mic. That's crucial. Backup mics are crucial. So someone just said there's a huge Top Shot drop today. So what does that mean?
Top Shot releases. So the way you get these Top Shot cards, they're not easy. It's not. It's almost harder to get one of these than it is to get a blaster box from Walmart. What you have to do, but you can actually get lucky this way. You go and get into a digital wait line. It's like join the drop. So you get in ahead of time. So let's say I think they said the drop is today 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now, it depends on what the series is. I haven't looked. I'll pull it up here. But sometimes there's 60,000 pack or 20,000 packs. Sometimes there's only a couple thousand packs. And the prices vary from anywhere from $15 to $200 that I've seen. But what you do is you get in this digital line. Then once the drop happens at 3, you get randomized the spot. And it takes a little bit. But so far, I've been in 3 drops, and I was only high enough to get a pack one time. And even on some of their packs, they kind of do something cool, which I've actually thought about on doing some breaks. They're exclusive $199 packs. You've already had to buy one from them before to have access to that drop. So they kind of do some exclusive, like, where have you been? Have you been with us for a while, or
right.
Are you just jumping in? So I thought that was a really cool concept. But these moments, they vary. So some packs have 3 moments, some have 5. Some of the cards are numbered to like 40,000. Some are only numbered to a couple hundred or even down to 1. I guess jersey numbers are really popular. So it's just kind of weird. It has like similarities to the card market, but you never get a tangible or a physical card. So, but anyhow,
to get that line or that queue, do you log on and then are you randomly assigned a slot and have a chance at getting it, or is it first come, first serve?
Nope. My understanding is you're randomly assigned a spot, and you'll be able to tell if you have a chance. So like if there's 30,000 packs and your spot 34,000, you may have a chance if 4,000 people neglect to get on in their time frame and get a pack. But like the last one was only like 30,000 packs or something like that. I was spot 60,000. There was no way it was falling to me. So and at that point, there was 175,000 people waiting in line.
Wow. Well, and that's where it sounds like things differ between something like that versus a dibs. That it's when they have card drops, it's almost a first come, first serve. So I know we wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit. Anybody chime in if you've had any experience with dibs or know anything about it. We'll try to give a quick kind of overview for those people that are wondering what in the world am I talking about when I say dibs. So we've talked about these non-fungible tokens, right? So this is basically like money in the form of a token that you exchange your monetary dollars for tokens, and those tokens are used to purchase things. So what dibs is, it's fractional ownership. And Mike, you and I have talked about it several times. So not everybody can go out and afford a Michael Jordan rookie card, but if you have 100 different people and everybody goes in and buys a share of it, well, then you can own a portion of that card. And what's better than not having it at all is at least having a portion. So the owner of dibs, his name is Evan Vandenberg. But what he does,
I don't mean to interrupt, but we're switching now from digital cards to physical cards. Everything on dibs is a physical card. There is no digital as of right now. They don't do anything in the digital market. These are all physical cards.
This is actual physical cards. So what the owner does is the owner owns all of these physical cards. They are kept in the vault at PWCC. So if anybody knows anything about PWCC, it's a marketplace where you can buy and sell cards, but it's also a vault, a physical vault where you can send them your cards and they will hold them securely for you. So what happens is the owner has these cards. He places them in the vault. Those cards are turned into tokens on the blockchain. So when you sign up for dibs, you go in, you create an account, you take your money and you put it onto your account. And then
cards are available. Now there's a limited number of cards because the owner of these cards actually has to buy them physically and have them in hand first. So what happens is you go on, you can select whichever cards you want, and you can buy a portion of that card, and it's traded just like the stock market. It's got a price, which is the current going rate of a card. You buy into that card at that price. That value can go up and can go down. It's just like the stock market. And you will forever own a portion of that card until you decide to sell your shares. Now, there is one way to get the physical card itself, and that's if you own 100% of the shares of that card, then the owner will send you the physical card and it becomes your physical card to keep for eternity. So, but you have to buy out. So it's an interesting concept. You and I have talked about fractional ownership forever and thinking that that's going to be the way to go for some time now. So what are your thoughts on fractional ownership?
I mean, I just look at the site and I think it makes it gamifies cards a little bit more. It puts that digital concept that I like so much, like having the opportunity to have a piece of it. But even though I don't have the physical card, I feel like I do own part of the physical card. I think it gamifies it in a way. It does feel like the stock market in a way. If you can see our screen right now, if you're watching, I mean, just the data tracking, the information that you get, the real time up, like price increase and decrease in the value. I just think it's such a cool way to get involved and without investing way too much money. I mean, you can have a small stake in a monster card without feeling like you put too much risk into it. I think it's an awesome idea. I hope to get involved with it. I know right now it seems like it's Chris, I know you have access, but how did you it's early access only right now, correct?
It is. So it's kind of like their beta right now. So I had to go on their email list, and then they email you and say, congratulations, you got in. Right now, it's my access is just through my phone app. I will pull that up now and see if I can show that on screen and how it comes across, so you can get an idea of what it looks like specifically. So,
but there is trading happening right now, even in the beta version. And you said kind of like in the way that they do Top Shot. Let me get the screen share off so we can see a little bit better. Larger version of you there.
All right. So if you look at it here, this is the actual what the actual screen looks like. So it's like the stock market, and I'll go into my wallet, which my wallet actually is my collection. So when you look at it, this shows the cards that are in my collection, the percentage that I own of the card, and what the value is. So for example, there's a 2000 Bowman Chrome Topps or Tom Brady PSA 10. The current value on that card is $33,094. I own 2% of that card. So I have the availability to buy or sell that card right now. It goes over trends just like a stock market would, from where the price has risen and fallen over the last week, day, year, hour. So just like stocks, you can kind of find peaks and valleys as to when you want to sell it. Now, how they make their money is obviously when you sell, there is a small transaction fee of a few dollars. So every time someone sells, the company is making some money off of that. They also start, so we talk about the drops like with Top Shot. They have cards that drop. When those cards drop, it's first come, first serve. They limit the amount you can buy of the card, but every card starts with 10% of the value of the card is not available. So you can only buy up to 90% because the owner owns 10% of the card. That way you have to buy him out to get the physical card, if that makes sense.
It does. And Chris, you have two really good questions here. Actually, two ones in a comment. So I put it on the thing. So how are cards valued? And I wondered this too. Why is it going higher than market value? Is it just because of the opportunity to buy into it? Have you read anything about that? Why?
Yes. So here's if you look at it, right? I guess the thing that's questionable about this is it could be like the stock market, where you could certainly manipulate cards to the point where when the card is dropped, the value is set based off of comps, pretty close to comps. Obviously, you take an average, there's some high, some low. But when the card drops, it's based off of comps. And once it's sold out, it stays stagnant for 6 days. No one can buy or sell any additional funds on that card. It's sold out for 6 days. Then it hits the open market, just like a company going public and all of a sudden being available for the public to buy shares. So just like GameStop, right? GameStop was at like $10 a share. Then everybody started buying it and it shot up to $400 a share. If we had 10,000 people all of a sudden go on and put $10 towards this Tom Brady, then it wouldn't be $33,000. It'd be a $50,000 card. So we are pretty much setting the market for the value of that card in a sense.
So what I hear you saying, and this is my question, is that the prices on dibs is going to start to set, or at least be used as an average for the comp of a card. So before we went to eBay, now we may be checking dibs and say, what is it selling for on dibs? that's the new comp of my card. Although it's going to be you're going to be very careful with how you use that, because that's a lot of people investing a lot of money as opposed to one person being able to fund that themselves.
Exactly. And there's less on the marketplace, right? So this Tom Brady is one card versus if you go onto an eBay, there could be 15 sales of that card. So it's better to get a more accurate. This one can be manipulated a bit more by people, but obviously the demand is going to drive the price. So the more that people want to get into this fractional ownership, then the higher the price is going to be set. Where it becomes an advantage is like, I don't see myself ever actually owning this Tom Brady, for example. I'm not going to go in and spend $30-some thousand for the card to buy it out. But if I bought in when it was 25,000 and it hits 50, I'm going to sell my shares and I'm going to make a few $100. And I think that's what you're going to see a lot of the people doing. Just a way to kind of, or you can hold it long term. So, for example, I can sit on this Tom Brady for the next 10 years and maybe that $30,000 card becomes the next card to sell for, $1 million. Who knows?
So one of the things I like about it, and talking about how it may affect the physical card market, not just on dibs, but you see this here, they give such lifetime, and again, this could be an example, but they'll be able to give lifetime percentage increases or decrease in the value of a card and how they're trending. I think you're going to see that really make the single sales market online, whether it be Facebook, eBay, whatever, be very active in quick flips and stuff like that, because you're seeing those lot in real time and more statistics. It's just going to expose us to more data-driven understanding of where the card market is headed.
So let me give you an example, right? For they've got top gainers and top losers, and it basically goes off of Aaron Jones, right? So he signed a new contract and extension with the Green Bay Packers. So his silver prism is up 58% right now. So he's one of the top gainers. It's only a $583 card, but it's up over 50%. Whereas you look at a Deshaun Watson silver rookie card, that's down 30%. And I have to imagine that's because of the news, that just came out. So people are speculating and selling. One of the trends that I'm starting to see is a lot of the top losers tend to be some of these prisms, and we've talked about it in optics. Just because I think the sheer population report numbers are going to be so huge, I think we're going to start to see some of these numbered cards and autographs that are limited becoming more valuable.
So JT asked a good question here. What's the protection on your investments? Like, I'm kind of to piggyback off of that. How do you withdraw money or input money? Is it all digital funds, or can you use a credit card? How do you do that?
Yeah, so it actually comes through either a card or your bank account directly, just like if you're making a purchase through eBay. So and it's secure. So you put in a deposit. So I'll give you an example right now. Just to play around with it and have fun, I initially invested $500. The cards that I own a portion of right now are a 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James PSA 10, the Brady, a 2016 Fernando Tatis Chrome autograph rookie card, LeBron James Downtown PSA 10, a Mookie Betts Topps update, and a Wander Franco. So I initially started with a $500 investment. My $500 is now currently worth $728. So I'm up $228.
Now, how easy would it be for you to just cash out on that right now? Are there a lot of people buying your shares if you just wanted to cash out all 700?
You see the button right there that says withdraw?
Yep.
You hit withdraw, and I can empty my account right now.
Wow. You don't have to individually sell your shares, worry about someone buying them. You can just cash out, and they'll put that money in your account.
Correct. Yeah.
I think it's like you said, like a 3% fee, just like anything, if you would do that, correct?
Exactly. So you can withdraw your funds at that time. So obviously I haven't actually withdrawn. So, we'll see how that shakes out, but that's my understanding of how that rolls.
I think so. Real quick, just my initial take on it, outside of being excited about it, and I know there's always good and bad with everything, but the good I see to it is that this will continue to keep the hobby popular. I think bring in fresh eyes. The bad thing is it's less of a hobby and more of an investment strategy there. So those of us who like the hobby, the good kind of twist on that is you're not going to have to worry about getting your PC guys as far as non-valuable cards. I think you're going to see mostly graded, higher end cards on here. I don't think you're going to have to worry about getting your inserts and your base cards and stuff like that. So when it comes to the hobby, I think now more than ever, you're going to have an opportunity to buy those lower. And when people are like, oh, it's too expensive of a hobby to get into anymore. No, it's not. You can get PC guys. I can get Devin Singletaries. I can get Zach Mosses. I can get AJ Epinesses. I can get my Bills guys actually very, very cheap right now because people aren't looking for those cards. If it's truly a hobby to you, don't worry. But if your hobby includes, oh, I really like Justin Herbert all of a sudden, no, you like the idea or the concept of making a ton of money on a Justin Herbert. This allows you to do that and still be invested in the hobby without investing $1,500 on a Justin Herbert. You can say, all right, I just want $200 worth of Justin Herbert. So I think there is a good side. If you like the hobby and also like the investment idea of it, this is a good balance between the two.
So, and here's some of the questions. Like Jonathan just brought up a question: what happens if the market crashes? This is the stock market. If the market crashes, you're out your money. If Deshaun Watson becomes guilty and his cards drop, if you own a large amount of shares on there, you're going to lose money. Now, here's what's interesting. It is really just like stocks. So, for example, this is the Deshaun Watson card here. You have the opportunity to buy more shares or sell shares. If I click sell, I can either sell it right now based off of the current value of the card, or just like in stocks, if you're familiar with stocks, you can put an order limit where you will only sell it. You'll automatically sell it if it drops to a certain point. So the card right now is worth $2,200. You can put a conditional sale to say, if that card value drops to $2,000, sell my shares.
So to JT's point, I mean, it's really no different than physical cards. I mean, if you're invested in cards and you have physical cards in your house, if the market collapses, you're sitting on junk anyhow. It's just this way. It looks more digital. It's more organized. It's faster. It's fast paced. Where, like, for example, to put it in JT's terms, like Jalen Hurts, people were buying him low. He got named the starter. They shot up. And then, like, for a while there after the season, his cards plummeted again. Well, that's the same thing. It's just now you have to worry about where you're going to sell that card, if you can move it, to pay the eBay fees, to list it. This just makes it fast paced and allows you to have access to it faster, it seems.
Yeah, and so here's a question. Do you try to own the card before they retire, then sell it at the Hall of Fame induction? To your point, no different than a physical card. If you would buy that physical card off of eBay, then sure. Can you afford, as you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry, to go out and buy a $30,000 Brady rookie? No. So that's where this fractional ownership is great, because you own a piece of that. Now, let's say we know traditionally that cards get, post-career 3 bumps, right? You get a bump when you retire, you get a bump when you go in the Hall of Fame, and you get a bump when you pass away. Sadly, but that's just the reality of it. So that Tom Brady rookie is going to get, if he wins another Super Bowl, it'll bump. When he retires, it'll bump. When he hits the Hall of Fame, it'll bump. So that card could, explode in value. So when they do their drops, they sell out in minutes, if not seconds. They did the Jordan, I think it was a PSA 8 that they dropped, rookie card, and it sold out instantaneously. You couldn't even get a piece of it. It went so fast, because that's a card that's coveted that people want to get their hands on. And as a normal person just walking around, you're not going to be able to drop that kind of money on it.
Yeah, like I said, I know people's concern about it, and the same thing with the digital cards. But the fact is, the hobby's only progressing in this direction. So you can either get on board or not and enjoy the hobby the way it was and kind of stay in that moment, or you can move with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with not liking it. I just think that it adds another element. It adds another choice, and it gives other people options. And in a way, it might make you have the opportunity to get into like box breaks or buy your physical cards, because people are taking their funds and investing it in these digital cards or in these stock market style idea. So it just expands the market and really allows for more people to get involved in different ways, I think.
Brad Warner, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Brad!
Wow, long time no see. So the site is Dibs, but right now it is like in a beta version. I will see if there's an invite. If I have an invite where I can send to people, I'll put it on the page and everybody can use that to try to get in. But the question here, I think, is really the kind of the key question is, how popular will this be in 5, 10, 20 years? And if you're asking me, I think this whole realm of technology and blockchain and fractional ownership isn't going to go away anytime soon. I just think that the prices that we're seeing on wax is going to continue to, I don't see the market correcting to a point where, that's going to go down anytime soon. And so I think where people can't afford to either buy wax or to buy individual cards, this is a great opportunity for them to get in the hobby and get some of these iconic cards that you see on the market. What do you think?
I agree with you. I just think that it's for me, I'm not one that can just go drop, how many tens of thousands of dollars on a Michael Jordan card, nor do I really want to invest in that. But let's just say a Tom Brady rookie. I can't wait for him, like, now to see him get into the Hall of Fame and stuff. This would allow me, I don't really want to own a full card of him in my collection. but I know that in an investment side, it's a smart buy. So it just, to me, it makes it, it's more, it's like the stock market, but it's something I'm interested in, as opposed to investing in businesses I have no interest in. And I know it's a good investment, so I invest in it, and I know that they have promised to get me money. This allows me to do it in a more of a fun, gamified way. I probably wouldn't invest near as much because this market seems to have more volatility to it than the businesses, but it seems really fun. I think I want to definitely try it out.
Yeah, well, and to the point here, there are other fractional ownership, opportunities out there, no doubt about it. I got in on Dibs just because I did research on the owner, the legitimacy of them. I believe in the concept that they have. So for me, this was the right choice. But do your homework, do your research. No different than when you're going out and buying a physical card. You wouldn't just buy the first one you see. So do some research and find that if you want to get involved in it, the company that fits you best. But so far, I've had a great experience with them. And these are cards that I'm just going to sit on for 10 years and not think about. That's the other great thing. It's not like a physical card that you have in hand where times get a little rough, or you grab it and be like, oh, let me see if I can flip this thing. I don't even think about it. I could delete the app off of my phone for 5 years, go back to it, and then see what that $500 investment turned into.
All right. Well, Chris, as of right now, it's only physical cards on there, like we said. So for those of you guys that hate the digital cards, then that's great because it's just physical cards. Even though you don't necessarily have it in your collection, you're invested in it. I'm going to bring you over and talk. We're going to move back real quick just to these NFT cards. And for this example, Top Shot, even though Panini Blockchain is an example of that. Gronkowski, like we said earlier, is an example of that he came out with his own. And you start to wonder how many players are going to start to branch out on their own and do their own a little bit. But Top Shot has a release today. I can't seem to get in. And this is what I was telling you, though. They actually do something interesting for this All-Star one today. It looks like it's supposed to be like what did I see? $229. When you click on it here, it looks like this pack will have one rare 2021 All-Star game and 6 base set cards from Series 2. And it's available for purchase on today at noon Pacific time, and only for people who have 3 moments in their collection. So they kind of do limit these special packs and stuff like that to people who are already involved. Now, when you're in, you can go to your own collection, and I do have a couple moments. So these are the 3 I got from my pack. I'll just show you an example of one here in case you haven't seen. So it just shows you a clip or a highlight, and I know it's kind of small there, but it shows you some other angles or views of the card. It is what it is. I don't know why my name's Stable Elephant. I'm anything but stable. Like I said, I've been dabbling in this a little bit. So again, I'll go to my collection here. And what I wonder is, are these eventually things that, as of right now, you can't sell the packs if you buy them on the site, but I see people doing it in a different way. They'll sell them on an open marketplace like Facebook or whatever, and then say, I'll open the pack for you live. Then we'll transfer. There is a marketplace where you can actually sell your cards or transfer, and you can see when you go in here. I mean, look at some of these cards. There's a LaMelo Ball for sale for $3,400. Now, there are other ones like Austin Rivers for $15, but if I filter from, let's see, there's cards in here for asking $240,000 for a John Morant moment, $213,000 for a LeBron moment. Obviously your big names, Ja, LeBron, Zion, Luka are all in there. But, I mean, you're talking $150,000, $123,000. So I'm curious. I wanted to see if we can click sold here. It doesn't look like it's showing sold. But, I mean, it's just a whole new concept. And for me, it's hard to honestly grasp onto. Chris, what are your thoughts on this digital market?
It seems crazy to me, although, I mean, I know it's pretty popular. Even in the art world, there's a big play for people getting digital art right now as opposed to physical copies. In fact, I heard one artist actually had a painting, sold it for hundreds of thousands of dollars in a digital format, and then destroyed.
2 million. Oh, I thought you were talking about the one that sold for $62 million this week. The digital art that sold for $62 million this week.
That's insane too. But this guy actually destroyed the physical copy of it then. So the only copy that remains is the digital copy, which how easy is that to rip off? I just don't. So to me, I don't get it. That's the thing is with a card, you own the card or a piece of the card. That's guaranteed to you. With these digital clips, you've got no copyright to it. I mean, it's just something in space that you're owning. I'm not really sold on it yet. So I'll let others kind of test the market, and I'll probably be way too late, and it's going to be something huge that millionaires, come out left and right from. But in this question here about, no easy way to withdraw funds, I have zero Top Shot experience. I can't answer that question. I don't know if you know, Mike, or
I've heard the same thing. Right now, the concern is that because of it being NFT and a lot of based on crypto, it's easy to get money in as far as like I bought a pack with my credit card. However, I heard getting your money out is different. Now, I believe you can use the money in your account within the marketplace. So if you want to reinvest, but right now it seems like they're hoarding all that money within the site. Again, it's kind of still not in it necessarily. It is still in its beta version. You can see at the top of the site, it still says Top Shot Beta. So, I mean, I think it just grew so much faster than they anticipated. I mean, I heard guys that were excited about this from the start, and this is just a couple of weeks ago. This NFT thing is all new across our country. I mean, in the art world, in the sports world, I mean, in anything, like NFTs are being sold everywhere, and I think it's just not even been regulated yet. So I think they're trying to navigate that whole world.
Yeah. So the little bit that I do understand on how you could get actual money from it is you can sell your clips to another individual. Like if I own some, I could sell them to you. You
can't
pay
cash
me,
out though.
but you would pay me, and I would just transfer them to you.
Yes, you could do it that way within and just sell it necessarily or gift it to someone on the site. So that is one way you can do it. But within selling it within their marketplace, like if someone clicks buy on this $213,000, you're putting the money into the site. It's going on to yours. So Dibs has all this money, or Top Shot has all this money. I mean, and yet no one can pull that money out. So it seems like a really big cash grab for them on that.
Well, you got to imagine they're getting some interest on all the money that's sitting in there too on some level. So, and if you're waiting on Dibs, to Brad's point here, it's a waiting line of 28,342 people. So you might not be getting into that anytime soon. I guess fortunate for me, I got in. So if anybody wants to grab a piece of a card, let me know. We'll use my account and get onto them. So we'll see. I'm not sure where the future's going to be.
I want to kind of play off of that because I know there's a lot of people hating on it, yet I know some of the people that have hated on it have also said they joined the wait list. And it kind of goes to what I saw today, and we're about to do our big main event here with your HGA reveal. And I saw you comment on this today. I saw it was at the gym. Someone had posted, "Oh, I've been trying to get my cards into HGA forever. This is why this company will be a failure because I can't even get in." I'm like, what kind of back-ass words thinking is that? Like, that's like saying Panini sells out too fast, so that's why they'll never make it. I mean, the whole point that you want to still get in shows that it's going to be popular. And Chris, you actually were kind of on the fence with how you felt about them, but now that you got your cards back, how do you feel?
I'm pumped. I'm on the HGA train full force. I absolutely love the cards, so we'll get into it. But to your point, the analogy that person made is about as dumb as saying, you got to wait 4 hours to get on a ride at Disneyland. There's no way they're going to make it.
It's popular, and HGA is not going anywhere in the foreseeable future.
Yeah. So give a little bit of background
here for your reveal, okay?
Yeah. So give a little bit of background. So Mike and I, first of all, we are not in any way, shape, or form endorsed by, sponsored by HGA in any way, shape, or form. We have talked very positively of them, and that's just because I believe in the product itself. I'm not saying that I'm dismissing BGS or Select altogether, but for me, I just like what they bring to the table. I like the look of the cards, so on and so forth. So I used 6 of my personal collection Lamar Jacksons that I sent in. A couple of them I knew going into it may or may not grade well given the circumstances. Some of them had surface issues, some of them had centering issues. And so I really wanted to use it as an opportunity to gauge the accuracy of their AI technology as well as their human, inspection of the cards. But I'm excited with what I got back. So we'll go ahead and share these with you. Then we're going to do a little bit of a comparison. I've got a couple of slabs, one from PSA and one from BGS, and just have a discussion on your thoughts. So the first card was the 2020 Select Dragon Scale Prism. This one going into it, I knew had a print line straight across the middle of it, so the surface was going to get dinged. True to form, the surface did get an 8, corners 9.5, edges 10, centering 9.5. I'll also note that I got all of these slabs to match the color of the card itself. So here's the result of this card. This is the Dragon Scale Lamar Jackson. Got a 9 because of the 8 on the surface, which I expected, but just a super sharp looking card. The greens matching each other. I'm a huge fan of it.
And I do want to say, Chris, you did say that you were kind of anticipating some of these grades with it. You kind of graded them in your head, and you said the HGA kind of came through with what you were expecting on the subgrades, correct?
Yeah, they absolutely did. So my goal in grading PC cards, if a card comes back an 8, I'm not going to necessarily hate it. If it's for personal collection, obviously for investment, I would. So my goal is always 9s or better. Whenever I submit anything, to me, it's a waste if it's going to be less than a 9. So my goal with these was a 9 or better, but thinking there may be a possibility for, a couple of these things to hold some back. But I was relatively pleased with what came out of it. I'll also say that there's absolutely 10 days turnaround time. So when they say 10 days, it is 10 days. It's business days, and it's actually when they get scanned in. So the cards might be received on a Monday and not get scanned in until a Wednesday. Then the 10-day clock starts to tick from there. So the second card up, this is a 2020 Panini Select, the Concourse Cosmic. So if you've seen those cards, it's the pink and blue variation on the Select. Corners 9, surface 9.5, edges 9, centering 9. So this got an overall 9. But again, the slab itself has the blue and the pink to match. Sharp looking card.
And you mentioned the quality. I had heard that some of the cards were shaky in the case. You haven't experienced any of that. And how's the quality of the slabs and stuff like that?
The slabs are thick. They're very durable. They fit into each other really nice. I'm a huge fan of it. And I see what you're saying. So one of them said their grading scale is a little bit different. What their grading scale is an average. So they take the 4 scores and it's an average of those 4 scores. And to me, honestly, I think that's a more fair way to do it. If you're going to judge a card on criteria of 4 different things, then all 4 of those should hold equal weight. So it should be an average of those 4, in my opinion. They don't have they do have, it's not a black label, but it's called Flawless. Mike, after we do this, can probably bring up a picture. You can go on eBay and type in HGA Flawless, and there's a card there that they'll show that looks pretty solid. The next card, this is actually my favorite card out of it from a looks perspective. This is the 2020 Panini Prism Checkerboard. Again, these are all Lamar Jackson's. 9.5 corners, 9.5 surface, 9 edges, and this was one where I knew the centering was off. It got an 8.5 on centering, so I was not surprised, but got an overall 9. The black and white matching to me just makes for a really super sharp looking card. There you go. So there's the look of the Flawless right there. So that's which to me I think is a pretty sharp looking card itself. So I don't know what anybody else's opinions are on it, but to me, I like it. Next up, and I'll go through this a little faster. I'm belaboring them, but I love just staring at these cards. So 2020 Kaboom. This is 9 corners, 9.5 surface, 9.5 edges, 9.5 centering, got a 9.5 overall. This was the one card that I did match to the player's uniform. So the sticker itself is purple and black. Now, these 2 are the ones that I'm super pumped about. These are the higher dollar, more rare cards. So I was excited to see the scores that came back on these. The first is 2020. This is out of Obsidian. This is the Color Blast Black. Corners 9.5, surface 9.5, edges 9.5, centering 9. Got an overall score of a 9.5.
That card is so pretty.
So if we turn here.
I mean,
super solid.
The slabs themselves look just clean and nice and neat. Like they just, I not even without the label at the top, they look like nice slabs. Are they taller than PSA, Beckett?
No. So I'll do a comparison of all 3 here in just a second. Let me run off this last one. This is the only one, and I'm not disappointed in the card or the look of it at all. I wish the card was turned in the case, but other than that, that's just kind of being nitpicky. This is the On the Horizon, so you know that those were Panini exclusive on their website. This one was the gold version, numbered to 10. So for me, pumped about it. This was probably a $1,000 to $1,500 card raw. So this is the gold On the Horizon. It got corners 9. Not a surprise there. It's a thicker card. Surface 9.5, edges 9.5, centering 9.5. So overall 9.5. This is the gold On the Horizon. So if you'll see what I'm saying, like when you hold the card up this way versus the Obsidian, I wish the card was flipped so it matches the look of the Obsidian, but that's beggars can't be choosers on that one. So Jonathan says the labels don't look as good as BGS. So let's jump into that a little bit. So let's just do a quick comparison. So if you look at the slabs, so I'll take all 3. So in comparison, we've got a BGS slab, a PSA in the middle, and an HGA. So the HGA slab is the tallest and is actually wider than all of them. So it's a little bit more substantial. As far as So this is the BGS, which you get the standard gold look on it with the subgrades. To me, the gold and the silver, I guess it could make it look a little bit classier. I like the flash that HGA brings to it. Then we've got the PSA, which is just, looks like I could have printed it at home on a printer, just kind of plain Jane look to it versus, the look of the HGA slab. To me, there's no comparison. I mean, to me, the HGA just stands out above them all. But look, Mike, let's kind of break down a little bit and kind of talk when we're looking at graded cards. There's obviously different categories that you can get into. So there's the slab themselves, there's the label, there's the value, there's the turnaround time. So like when you take all of those in, what's your opinion of the three?
Well, I think if you're grading cards for your PC, you have to look at it differently. But as far as value goes, or even like to flip, you have to look at turnaround time. This market is so volatile that if I want to submit 20 rated Donruss Optic rated rookies, and because I know that like a player's hot during the season, and yet I don't get it back for a year, that whole investment could have changed. And we're seeing that with guys that submitted Mosaic on release day or the day after and are just getting it back. And they're like, I can't even sell these for what they were going for 6 months ago or 3 months ago. It took too long to get back. So I think turnaround time's got to be factored in because, and then with turnaround time, I'm also not going to pay an arm and a leg for it unless if I need a card back that quickly, then sure, go PSA and pay that $500 fee to get it back in time. But I think turnaround time and then price and then resale value is obviously a big thing. But as you said before, that resale value is coming closer and closer together between these three, the big three. I think there can be.
I did some research, for example, on a Luca. I don't know if I think it was a Prism Luca. The HGA 9.5 sold for higher than a PSA 10. Now, maybe some of that is shill bid. Maybe some of that is just hype around the product. Who knows? The long-term play is yet to be seen. So one of the things was asking for pricing and pop reports. So I'll address two of those. What I'll say about HGA, now granted, they're significantly smaller than a PSA or a Beckett. So I would expect this from a company that's just starting. But from a customer service perspective, the owner of the company direct messaged me and answered questions that I had about their product. So Pop Report is something that's in the works and actually may be available as early as this week or next week on their site. So they are doing Pop Reports. As far as pricing is concerned, this was the 10-day service that I submitted for. The 10-day service is $55 per card. Some people are complaining about that. Let me give you a comparison. I sent out an order with PSA September 2nd. They were $30 per card for a 20-day submission. Those cards have not even been looked at for grading yet. I most likely will not get them back until sometime over the summer. So at $30 a card to wait 1 year or $55 a card to get them back in 10 to 15 days, I will take 10 to 15 days all day long.
Yeah, and I see someone said we need more data on values before we can make that call, maybe for long-term investments. But like I said to you before, if you're submitting, like let's just say Justin Herbert stuff, and you like during the season and he gets hot, you want to make sure you have 20 of them and you want to flip 10 of them. So you send your 10 best in. You can't afford to do it on a card like that, the PSA, because you're going to have to pay that premium, couple $100 a price a piece. You'll never get your ROI on that. But with HGA, you can do it, and that price difference isn't big enough now to not go that route. And like you said, you need 10-day turnaround time for $55. That is affordable, it's timely, and as long as they stick to that time frame, then, who cares if they're not giving you an update? If they're reliable and getting everyone's cards back within a week and a half, 2 weeks, to me, that's enough.
Yeah. So here's the point too. So the issue with HGA is getting in. So the way that works is kind of like you were explaining with Top Shot is you go on their website, you have your form pre-populated and you go into a waiting room and then they randomly assign you a number, kind of like the deli counter, and they start with 1 and go to 2, 3, 4. They have limited the number of cards you can submit. So it's only 5 cards per person so that their overall card count, you're going to get more people in. They're working on opening more days. Now they do a Thursday submission and a Friday. It's going to be tough, but the reason why they're doing it is intentional. They want to be able to guarantee those turnaround times. Mike, you talked about it. The worst thing that could happen is you come out and you say something like 10 days means 10 10 days, and then it takes 20 days to get your card back. So they want to make sure that they're living up to the standard that they're setting out of the gate. Granted, they're going to have to take on more submissions unless they're a company that the volume that they're getting right now is good for them, and he's making a good profit and he's able to upkeep, his level of customer service. He may never want to be that PSA that's grading, a million cards at a time.
I mean, I'm a person that believes in quality over quantity in almost every aspect. So I would rather them stand true to their turnaround time, their price points, and have a good business model than say, hey, we'll just allow everyone to submit and then turn in the PSA or Beckett where you don't know your turnaround times. But Brad asked a great question, and Chris, maybe you have some information on this. Have you done any price comparisons between the same card on three different levels? And I think someone said earlier, we're going to have to give a year to have a true comparison. But I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. If cards are selling, they're selling.
Yeah.
But like right now, what it is, I don't think it's tangible enough to really be worried about where you're sending it to. Correct?
No, not at all. I mean, like I said, there's examples where the HGA cards are selling for 10% higher than a PSA 10. You can cherry pick anything. You can pick a PSA 10 that sells for 50% more than an HGA. It just depends, and that's the thing. eBay is so hit or miss with when, if it's an auction, when the auction ended, is the timing like at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night where someone took advantage of it closing early? Is someone desperate to sell a card? I mean, if you need money and you're going to sell a card for $300 less than what it's worth, you need money, you're going to do it. So I think that's the thing, is eBay can be so variable. I think it's going to be the long-term play to see the averages of what plays out.
And I think that they're trying to do the right things. Instead of taking on more cards, they're limiting people's submission to get more people involved so people don't feel like they've been neglected or haven't had an opportunity. They're not changing their turnaround times just to say we'll take on more cards. So it seems like they're trying to do things the right way, even, contrary to what people say is that they're failing and stuff. I just think if anything, they're failing up. Like they're actually maybe pissing people off, but in a way that's allowing them to reach more people in a good way. So, I mean, exactly. I'm looking at it, you said the cards look nicer in person, and they look great on the screen. I mean, I'm honestly going to fight to try to get some of my Josh Allens after seeing your Lamar Jackson. And
I'm going to
real quick to comment to what Chris said earlier. I'm not even a big grader. I've never submitted to grade. I don't collect just graded cards. I don't really flip or invest in any part of the market. So for me to endorse one over the other has nothing to do with just my perspective on it from an outsider. I don't have anything invested in any of these three companies. It's not like I hope one's more successful than the other. So I hope that comes through when I'm giving my share. It just seems to me like HGA is more fun for the hobby. It's cooler looks. They have the subgrades that I like about Beckett. And they're good turnaround time, fair price. They just seem like they have everything.
I mean, I've said it all along, is that there's nothing wrong with competition. Competition should elevate everyone's game. So to me, the more the merrier. And then just be selective. I mean, there's going to be people that are tried and true to PSA. There's people that are tried and true to Beckett. And there's going to be people that are tried and true to HGA. I own all three, and I'll continue to use all three. It just depends on, it's going to be a per card basis to determine how I move forward and what my goals are. Answer Brad's question real quick. So the average on here, so the BGS was 9 centering, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, which got a 9.5 overall. Same exact thing on the HGA. 9s with 3 9.5s equates to a 9.5. Now, the difference that you'll run into is if you look at one of those cards that had an 8. So, for example, that it had corners were 9.5, surface was 8, edges were 10, centering's 9.5. That got a 9. To me, that is way more reflective of the true value of the card versus saying because it got an 8, the highest we can give it is an 8.5. Well, how are you going to give a card an 8.5 if it's got 9.5, 9.5, and 10 as the three other attributes?
Yeah. And that's all people look at, is that they're looking at that grade first, that top main grade. Then they'll go to the subgrades. But yeah, that does stink that you can't get higher than that if you get an 8.
So I don't know. To each his own. It's going to be one of those things that people are just going to gravitate towards what they're going to gravitate towards. But I did it as an experiment. It worked out really well in my favor. So I'm going to continue to use them when it makes sense.
Let me ask you this: did it change your mind about doing anything as far as investment cards? Like I know you're big on some vintage, you're big on some big players, rookies, and stuff outside of your PC. How do you feel now? Have you changed all the other way about bigger, better cards?
Yeah, I think for the look of it, that's the benefit to me. I really honestly think that the look of the overall card, in my opinion, some people just look at the card value and that's it. In my opinion, the look of the card can help determine how valuable it is in my mind. So for example, right, this zebra print, Lamar, PSA 10, the red and white label, if that label was an HGA label that was the black and the white, how thick would that card look? In my opinion, I think it would look beautiful. So yeah, I would take a shot at it because I think that the overall look could really enhance the visual of some of these cards.
I will say I like right now, and it may grow on me because it will be so exclusive, but I don't like that they're flawless, kind of just as flawless. I mean, it's silly to put subgrades on when you know it's flawless. It means it's 10 across the board. So it's almost like a trophy banner, but I don't think, and maybe I have to see more color examples. It's just kind of, they go one color scheme on it, and it kind of ruins what their strength is. So I really do want to see more. Right now, I've only seen the Kyle Lewis and the Luis Robert. But what are your thoughts on their flawless label?
So I don't know if that flawless label is a universal or not. So that's the question I have, right? If I'd sent in one of these cards and selected to match the color of the card, would the flawless label match the color of the card, or would it be generic? Because what those cards may have been submitted, you can match the color of the card, you can match the color of the player's uniform, or you can do a neutral. And that may have just been a neutral submission where they wanted a neutral label.
Chris is patting your back. Consumer investigative reporting. I love it.
Oh, geez. To catch a predator, right?
We saved the grand finale for last with your reveal. We've been on for an hour, so I don't want to get too far into this. But thank you, Chris, for taking the plunge and doing that. And I know we also will be getting a bracket up for tomorrow on the Coffee and Cards page. So what we can do is share that out, just the link to our Coffee and Cards Facebook page, but you'll have to go over there to find the link for the tournament. All right, Chris, let's get them over that.
Good. Yeah, we'll get it up there tonight, and I'll find something to put up for grabs. So I'll make it worth your while to enter in the tournament. So that should be fun.
Well, appreciate that, Chris, and thank you so much for taking time to come join us and listen to us ramble on about sports cards. We'll be back, obviously, with a recorded episode. I don't know what our plans are, if we're going to do one tomorrow now that we did the live show today, but either way, we'll be back soon with another recorded episode for you.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. If you are on the coast and down south like I am, good luck with the storms today. Hopefully they stay to a minimum, but there's tornado watches all up and down the coast. So be safe. Talk to y'all soon.